Hello, welcome to another tutorial. I am Tim Tokpe. In today's tutorial, we are going to be making this flare dress with a tiered gathered layer. So if this is what you're interested in knowing how to make, you want to continue watching this video and don't forget to like, subscribe and give your comments. So let's go straight into it. So this is the fabric I'm going to be using for this style. I have 3 yards here. This is flowered crepe, but I ended up using 4 yards for this style. So I had 1 yard left on this side, so I ended up using the whole 4 yards. But here, right here, I have 3 yards. So now I'm going to be folding this into two. So this part, which is the yard part, is where we are going to be folding, and we are going to be folding it to the wrong side. So I'm going to take these points here, the two edges on this yard part. So these two edges like this, I'm going to take it like this and then fold the fabric into two. So after folding it into two like this, I'm going to be folding it again. So how I'm going to be folding it next is to take from this angle here. So I'm just going to fold the fabric like this. Just watch what I'm doing here. Just fold it this way. So now I have the fabric folded into four. So now when you fold it into four like this, it's going to be giving you like a triangle shape. So I'm just going to arrange the dress properly and I'm going to be pinning it. Then I'm going to be showing you what it looks like on the lower side. But first of all, let me pin it together so as to put it in place. So now this is what we have, and this is what is looking like on the lower part. So you can see that we have this kind of triangle shape. So we have it folded into four now, right? So this folding it into four, we are going to be cutting the front and the back together. So what we want to do next is to look for a straight part on this triangle that is going to measure, that is going to be enough to take our shoulder measurements. So the shoulder measurement I'm working with is 16 inches. So divided by 2 is 8 inches. So what I have here is more than 8 inches. I have about 9.5 inches here. So on the just locate a part that is going to that is wide enough to take up your shoulder measurements, or just a little bit more than your shoulder measurements. So now I'm going to be marking the neckline. So I'm using 3.5 by 3.5 for this neckline, and I'm just connecting it with my free hand like this. After connecting the neckline, now I'm going to be taking the shoulder measurements. So the shoulder measurement, like I said, is 16 divided by 2, that is 8 inches, and that is what I've marked here. But yeah, I wasn't sure if the chalk was visible enough, so I decided to go with the blue chalk. So I'm just remarking the shoulder again. So 8 inches, I'm going to mark it here. Then after marking it, I'm going to come down, place my tape here, and then mark 1 inch. Now this 1 inch, I'm going to be connecting it towards the neckline like this. Then after that, I'm going to be getting the armhole. So watch the way I'm placing my tape. I'm not placing it straight like this, I'm placing it slanty, so it has to go with the slant of the triangle. So that's how you are going to get your bust measurement. So this is how I'm going to be measuring my armhole. And to get the armhole, I'm going to divide the bust measurement into 6 and then add 1.5 to it. So after doing this, I got 8.5. So now I'm going to connect to this 8.5 from the shoulder to the 8.5 inches mark like this with my ruler. Then after doing this, I'm going to be getting the bust measurements. So here below this armhole, now I'm going to be getting the bust measurements. So the bust measurements divided by 4. So the bust is 42 divided by 4. I have 10.5. And then I'm going to be adding 1.5 inches allowance to it. So that means I'm going to be marking 12 inches for the bust measurement. So I'm just going to use my ruler again and chalk to connect this line so that we can see the bust measurements and the armhole line. So now this straight part of the armhole, I'm going to be locating the middle. So I'm just going to place my tape like this, then fold it into 2. So here is the center. Now I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch like this, and then I'm going to be connecting the shoulder point, the 1/2 inches I went in by, and then the bust measurement together. So just like I placed my curve like this, I'm going to be connecting the armhole together this way. So after getting the armhole now, we already get the bust measurement. The next thing we are going to be getting is the length of the dress. So the actual length I'm working with is 42 inches. That's the actual length of the dress. But then there's going to be like a tiered, we are going to have a tiered layer at the lower part. So that tiered layer is going to be about 5 inches. So I'm just going to be deducting 5 inches from 42. So what I have left is 37 inches. So this 37 now, I'm going to add 1 inch to it, making 38 inches. So the 1 inch is for the stitching allowance on the shoulder and the lower parts. Do you understand? So now what I'm going to be marking out here is 38 inches. So from this straight line is where I'm going to be marking that 38 inches all around the folded fabric. So that's what is going to be giving me that flare effect. So I'm going to be using from this straight line, I'm going to be marking 38 inches all around the lower parts. So after marking this, I'm going to be connecting all the dots at the lower part. I'm going to be showing you what it looks like. So this is me connecting the dots together, so you can see this is what it looks like. And now after I'm done doing this, remember that what we have here is the bust, the front and the back together, right? So from this side, I'm just going to connect to meet the lower part. So from the bust measurement, you can see the way I'm connecting is slanting, not straight. You can see that I'm slanting my ruler and my chalk so to connect the lower part. Now since we have both the front and the back together, the neckline for the front is not going to be the same thing as that of the back. So I'm going to come down by 1 inch at the neck area here and then connect like this to mark out the neckline for the back part. So when I'm cutting, I'm going to be cutting out the back part first before cutting that of the front. So when I cut the back neckline and the side, then I'll remove the back part, then I can now work on the front part. So that is what we are going to be doing right now. So now I'm going to remove the inner one for the back part, and now this one I'm going to be working on it for the front neckline. So the front neckline, we still have more work to do. It's not just round, there's like a U shape below it where we have a rope. So from this lower part here of the 3.5 inches that I mark, I'm going to mark 1 inch like this. So when I mark 1 inch like this, then I'm going to mark 2 inches downward, and I'm just going to connect it together to form like a U shape. So just watch the way I'm connecting it. I'm just going to connect the 1 inch to the 2 inches to make it like a U shape. See the way I curved it. So now I'm going to be cutting out the neckline, and this is what is going to give us our front neckline. So watch how I am cutting it. So just follow the curve like this, and that will give you your front neckline. So this is what the front neckline looks like. So what we are going to be doing next is to join the shoulders of the back to that of the front. So I'm going to be placing the back on the front part like this, and I'm going to be pinning the shoulders together, and we are going to be stitching it by 1/2 inch on each side. So this is what it looks like after joining it. Now this U part, we are going to be taping it. So I'm going to fold it to the wrong side to do this. So now from the wrong side is where I'm going to be making the tape. So the width of this bias is 2 inches and is long enough to go around the U part. So I'm going to be stitching it from the wrong side like this by 1/2 inch all around the U part. So I'm going to show you what it looks like after I'm done. So this is what it's looking like. This is it from the right side, and this is it from the wrong side that we stitch it from. So I'm just going to go ahead and notch the U part so that it can relax and that U shape can really come out well. So after notching it now, I'm going to be taping it. So I'm going to fold it to the right side. We stitch from the wrong, so now we are going to be folding it to the right side So you can see the way I'm placing that. So I'm just folding it twice to cover up the rough edge. So that's just what I'm going to do. So just fold it twice to cover up the rough edge. Then you are going to be pinning it as you fold so that it can be easier for you to stitch on. So that is what I just did to the second end, and now I'm going to take it to my machine and top stitch on it. So this is what it looks like after top stitching on it. I'm just going to cut out the excesses on both sides, and now we are going to be working on the bigger neckline. So I'm going to measure around the neckline. I'm going to be taking the measurements of the neckline, and after I'm done measuring around, I have 26 inches. So now I'm going to be getting another bias, and I'm going to be making this bias 20 inches longer than the neckline. So this is the bias here. It is 20 inches longer than the neckline, so that by the time I stitch, I'm going to be having about 10 inches on both sides. So now this is what we are going to do. We are going to fold the edge of the bias like this. We're going to fold the edge by half of an inch and tape it down and stitch it down. So this is what it's looking like after folding it. I just fold it once. Now I'm going to notch the center of the neckline, and then my bias is already notched because I have joining at the center. So I'm going to be matching the parts I have joining to the back of the to the neckline, to the center of the neckline that I notched. Now I'm going to be stitching it from the wrong side as well. So I'm going to be stitching it from the center all around to the second side, so that I'm going to be having excesses on one side and excesses on the other side as well. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. So stitch it from the center of the back of the neckline to the front part, then to the right side and to the left side. I hope you understand. So this is what it looks like after I'm done. And now we stitch from the wrong side. Now we are going to be flipping it towards the right side. So this is it. Just watch what I am doing here. You are going to be folding it twice to cover up that rough edge. Do you understand? So just pin it like this, and then that's what this excess that we have here too. You are just going to follow what you have pinned here and fold that too twice to cover up the rough edge. Now I'm going to be pinning this all around so that it can be easier for me to stitch on. So just watch the way I am pinning it, and you're going to be doing the same to when you're making yours. So just take your time to arrange it properly, pin it. Once you pin it, you will not have any problem, and then you continue doing the rest also to the second end. I hope you understand. So just do what you did to this end to the other end as well. So this is it. After I'm done, I'm just going to top stitch on it all around, and I'm going to be removing the pin as I top stitch. So this is what we have. I've also gone ahead to press it down, to press it with my iron, and this is what we have here. So what we are going to be doing is to join the sides together, and to join the sides we are going to be flipping it to the wrong side. So I'm going to flip it to the wrong side now, pin it together on both sides, and then stitch it on the side. So after pinning it down, for the bust side, I'm going to be using 1.5 inches to stitch it on both sides. So after marking this 1.5 on the bust part, then the rest part, I'm going to be using 1 inch all the way down, and then I'm going to be connecting it with my ruler like this, and I'll do the same thing to the second side as well. Now I want a pocket for this dress, so to mark where my pocket is going to be from the shoulder, I'm going to mark 18 inches. So that will be where my pocket is going to start from, and the wideness of the pocket is going to be 5.5 inches, and that is what I've just marked here. And I'm going to do the same thing to the second side as well. So now while stitching on this side, I'm going to be skipping the part that is going to be the pocket. I'm not going to stitch that. And on this side as well, this lower part, I'm going to leave few inches here on stitch so that I can be able to place my gather the layered parts that we are going to be putting on it. So now, to know the amount of fabric I'm going to be using for my tiered layer, I'm going to be measuring round this lower part. You can see that I'm measuring both the front and the back together. So what I have here, I'm going to multiply it by 2. So what I have here is 80 inches, and so that means for the front and the back I have 160 inches all around the lower part, you get. So now the straight part that I'm going to be cutting is going to be twice of this. So that means I'm going to be cutting about 320 inches in length of the lower part. So this is it. I already cut this out. So what I have here, the width, the wideness is 7 inches. So the wideness, you can see that I stitch on the lower side twice, about quarter of an inch twice, after cutting the width to be 7 inches. And this upper part, I also stitch is very tiny also to conceal that rough edge. Now I came down by half of an inch and then make a loose stitch all around it. So to make it easier for me to do, I made the loose stitch twice, so that by the time I'm drawing it, it's not going to cut, and I'll be able to pull it till I get to the end. So I'm going to start pulling from this side till the center, and then when I get to the center or somewhere close, I'm going to start from the second end as well. So before I adjust the gathers to the length of the bottom part of my dress, do you understand? So just keep pulling it here and on both sides. So I'm done doing that, and now I'm going to be placing it on the lower part of the dress. So this is the lower part of the dress. As you can see, I folded it by quarter of an inch twice. So you don't have to do this if you are going to interlock your dress, but I'm not going to be interlocking it, so that's why I folded it into 2. Now remember the part that I said I'm going to be leaving there. So that is where we are going to be starting that's where we are going to start placing our tiered layer from. So this is the ruffles that I've made, my tiered layer. This is how I've gathered it, you understand? So now I'm going to start placing this from this opening here. So what I'm going to make sure is just make sure that you place it like half of an inch above the dress. So it is where you have your loose stitch, your gather stitch, that is where you are going to be stitching on. So to make it easier for you, it will be best if you pin it all around before stitching it, you understand? So just make sure that you adjust it such a way that it's going to go around the dress. So once you're sure that it's going to go around the dress, then you can pin it. So pin on it, just place it on the main dress, and then you are going to be stitching on the parts where you have gathers. So you are going to start from this end and then finish on the second end. And when you are done, you are going to be closing up the opening that we have here. So for the sleeve parts, I'm going to be measuring around the armhole. So this is the armhole now. So I measured what I have here is 10 inches. You can see that it's the front and the back together. So that means around the armhole, I have 20 inches. So the sleeve parts, is like a tiered, like it's a gathered sleeve too. So instead of marking out 20 inches now, I'm going to be marking out 40. That's twice of it. So that the excess, I'm going to gather it to give me that ruffled effect. So this is the lower part of the sleeve. Just make this curve like this to meet the other end here, like this. Just make the curve like this. It is this simple. So this is what the lower part is going to look like, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut it. Then the width of the sleeve that I have here, the wideness is 5.5. So I'm going to place this on the second one. I just cut one part, so this is the second part as well. Now I'm going to notch the center. So from this center now, so this is the upper part. Where I notched the upper part, where I have curved is the lower part, you get. So now this upper part I'm going to be making a loose stitch on, then I'm going to be gathering it. Then the lower part, I'm going to fold it very tiny. So this is the main dress. I've fixed the third layer. You can see what is looking like here, and this is the opening that we have there. You get. So now the layer parts that are attached to it, I'm going to make sure that it's standing up straight. You don't want it to be bending downward. So when you make sure that both sides is standing straight, then you can pin it together, and then you're going to take it to your machine to close that open part. Now you are going to be fixing your sleeve. So this is my sleeve. After gathering it, you can see that it's already giving that ruffled effect, right? So now I already notched the center earlier. So now this notch center is where I'm going to be placing on the shoulder part. Then I'm going to be stitching it from one end to the other. So now what I have here, from the center to the end here, is 10 inches, and the center to the second end is 10 inches. So all around, that means I have about 20 inches, right? So now from the center, I'm going to stitch it to this armhole part like this. And when I get to the armhole, when I'm placing the second one, I'm going to make sure that it overlap a little, so it's going to be easier for you to like interlock the sleeve, or probably use a bias tape to conceal the rough edge. So I'm going to do the same thing to the second side. Then I'm going to be fixing the pocket, and that will be all for our flared, tiered, and gathered layer dress. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to see you in my next. Bye.